and gentlemen, welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Greetings and welcome. Buonasera a tutti. Bonsoir. Buenas noches, bonne nuit, and a very good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on where on the planet you might be watching this. Welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers, which, as many of you know, is a Society of American Magicians production and brought to you from the Society of American Magicians International Assembly, of which I am delighted to see that we have several of our members here in the gallery, and indeed several people from the Magic Circle and from England. Basically, what happens is this. We have a little talk, it's just laid back, and we just have some fun. And we then have a meet and greet, which is given another name by the dean of our assembly, and he'll tell you about that in a little bit, where you get to talk to my guests directly and ask them questions. The mics are off for obvious reasons, and at the end of the show, we just open it up and you can just talk to everybody. It's just kind of laid back, and we hopefully are going to have some serious fun. So a big welcome to a number of people here who I can see are members of the circle as well, and indeed members of the SAM and indeed our International Assembly. So a warm welcome to you. And in a moment, I'm going to ask a particular gentleman to say a few words of welcome and explain to you about the live transcription and how it works. And when he's done, I will introduce you to another gentleman, and then we'll just get on with the show proper. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to past national president and the dean of our International Assembly, Dr. Joel Zaritsky.
Thanks, Anthony. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm so happy to be here. Yes, I am wearing the pin. Yes, I'm a proud member of the Magic Circle. So I'm really looking forward to today's episode. Just for everybody's knowledge, we do have live transcript going, which means that if you are deaf, you can watch it here in closed captioning as well. And don't forget, we have the schmooze and mingle at the end so everyone can interact with each other. So thanks, Anthony.
You're welcome. Before we actually get into the show proper, in fact, let me just take a quick look around here, and I'm pretty certain I saw him, but let me just double check. A very important gentleman in the Society of American Magicians, and that is our president-elect, and he will become president in July 2022. And all the way from Canada, Mr. Rod Chow.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, it is indeed a pleasure to be here, and I am also a proud member of the Magic Circle. So it's really an honor to have the president and vice president here both on the same show with Anthony Darkstone. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate both of them on their esteemed positions. It's really a great achievement, and really looking forward to hearing what they have to tell us about the Magic Circle. Thank you.
Okay, and let's go immediately to the most important person in the Society of American Magicians. He is so important that we address him as most illustrious. We've always addressed the presidents thus. Our current president, most illustrious, Mr. Tom Gentile, will join us for a few words.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening from. We welcome you from across the pond. Hello, Megan, as one leader to another leader from great organizations. Congratulations and welcome, welcome, welcome.
Excellent. Thank you, most illustrious. All right, now, thank you for that. Let's just move on with the show. Now, unless you've been asleep under a rock somewhere, you would not have heard that history in magic was made fairly recently. What was that history? Well, the glass ceiling, as it is called, was broken. It was broken at the Magic Circle back in 1990 something. I don't know the exact date. I should do, but I don't. When ladies were admitted, how wonderful it is. Not much later, we have at the Magic Circle a lady president and a lady vice president. So this is really something about the glass ceiling, and it tells us where we're going in the world of magic. Before we get to it, there is a nice photograph that was shared to me by a gentleman who has an MIMC with a gold star at the Magic Circle. is a valued member of our International Assembly, and he's actually got this photograph up behind him at the moment, but we'll pull it up. It's a still from Cheney's Muse. He kindly shared that with me. If we can pull that up, Joel. There it is. Okay. We'll be coming back to that maybe during the meet and greet, but that is where it all kind of started in a way. Okay. And if you look at that, I'll draw your attention particularly to the table, which has got a couple of chairs around it, and then also to the floor. And that is a great shot that dear John O'Riordan, who I mentioned earlier on, an MIMC master magician, shared with me. And I thought it's very appropriate to start the show with that. Back in the day, whenever I needed something, I would go to the secretary of the Magic Circle and go, Katherine, please, 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 nag, nag, nag. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And when Katherine Rhodes, one of our guests today, was secretary, she was absolutely amazing and wonderful and always answered something and found a way around it. So she was absolutely brilliant. And for those of you who remember last year, she was in one of our gala shows and indeed a guest on the Darkstone Dossiers. I wanted to get a clip together, just briefly showing the circle to people who have never been there. And guess what? Katherine, please help me. Anyway, Katherine came through again and she found me this clip. But it's not just any clip. It's filmed by the magic legend called Ross Stevens. Some of you are nodding and going, yeah, we know who that is. Someone's going, who's that? Well, if you've seen Izzy Simpson, either in the UK or in the United States, that's her granddad. Yeah, he knows about magic. He's also involved a little bit with Blackpool, which we will talk about another time. So if we be kind enough, by Katherine from Ross Stevens, just to give you a brief snippet of the circle. Well, thank you, Mr. Ross Stevens, via Katherine, of course. Thanks for that. I just want to give you folks a little bit of a taste if you've been there. And even if you've been there several times, there's an awful lot to explore. Every time I've done that, I've always found something new or dragged off somewhere and shown something else. The last time I was there, I can't remember what it was. I think I was giving a talk. And there's a point I want to make right now for those of you who don't know. That's an important point. The links between the Magic Circle and the Society of American Magicians go back well over a century. The SAM got started in 1902, and the Magic Circle, I think, was a couple of years later, 1905. Someone will correct me if I've got the date wrong. But since then, there's always been this wonderful collaboration where deans and other members of the SAM and presidents have been members of the circle and vice versa. The Magic Circle has come to many conventions and put on shows and given cocktail parties and that kind of thing. So the links are there. And speaking of links, I had an idea last year and I spoke to the editor of MUM, which many will know is the SAM monthly publication. And I said, why don't I do a feature on 12 people in the Magic Circle? And he said, wow, yeah, let's do that. So we have a cover which we've pulled up. It was a hell of a task for me to choose 12 people. I wanted to spread it as much as I could, and obviously couldn't encompass everyone. Some of you will spot, of course, dear Michael Vincent, who you saw his hands on the clip, Gunnar from Iceland, who organizes many, many things and lectures, Katherine, of course, Vanni Poulet, who's from Malta, who was the IBM president, Roy Marsh, of course, love that guy, Todd Landman, Mandy Davis, etc., and of course, Mr. Burglass. So that was kind of well received. So that's just another example of what happens. And I'm now going to give you a little, before I get to my guests and get them to talk, I'm going to give you a funny example as well. And it's kind of appropriate because one time when I was there, I was standing next to Mr. Devant, trying to get lessons from him. When I was older, of course, as you understand from that photograph. And then somebody sent me this. So, hey, I mean, whatever. I have no idea whose idea of fun that was, but they sent me this picture and I thought, well, it'd be good to use it. So now that we've done all that kind of intro stuff, let's just get to the real deal, shall we? I want you in Zoom fashion to please applaud loudly with your hands in Zoom fashion and please welcome the president of the Magic Circle, Miss Megan Swann. There she is. Hello, Megan.
Hello, Anthony. Thank you for having me.
Not at all. It's a great, great pleasure. And thank you so much from me and on behalf of the SAM, because I know since you were elected, you haven't stopped really. You've been everywhere with interviews and press and TV and whatever. So thank you very, very, very much. And thanks again to Katherine, if you like, to use an old Western expression, kind of ramrodding you and get the times fixed so the both of you can get together to do it. Speaking of which, obviously, yes, let's bring in who used to be, as I've told you, the secretary and was on our gala shows, etc., and a member of our assembly, Katherine Rhodes, who is now the vice president. Hi, Katherine.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Good to see you both. Yeah, this is great. Okay. Well, I think what we're going to do now is just, yes, obviously talk a little bit about the circle, but I don't want it to be just about the circle. I want to get to the people behind the president and the person behind the vice president. To give you a kind of little inkling of the person behind the president, it would be fair, I think, to say she started in magic at quite a young age. I'm told by Roy Marsh she was nearly 8 years old. Here's a picture coming up of her at a party, and the gentleman in the fancy vest, or waistcoat as you call it in England, and bow tie is none other than the legendary Mr. Marsh. So there you go, the balloon on her head, and either laughing or feeling a little bit bashful. Along the years, it also turned out that she was presented a trophy, a nice wooden shield trophy by Roy Marsh. There she is. Yes, she's grown up a little bit since the last picture. And speaking of trophies and things, there's a lovely shot by Mark Hesketh Jennings, who's the official photographer at the Magic Circle, and has been very kind to our assembly and as an honorary member, supplied us with great photographs. A stunning one of Megan when she won, I believe, the young magician, oh no, that's the staircase of all of them looking happy, being elected. Great, okay. With the new council behind them. There she is. I think it's a collage picture looking a little bit like Swan Lake. I'm trying to get my tech. Ah, there it is. Right, there you go. At the YMC Junior Day. Now, I'm going to keep quiet. And I'm going to ask Megan to tell us a little, she can't probably encapsulate it all, but just give us a little bit about her journey to magic and to this, and then eventually I believe you were on stage magician and then went on to become president. So, Megan, over to you. A brief history of that little girl and your kind of climb up.
Brief history of my life. Okay. So as you mentioned, I did actually first get into magic when I was about 5 years old with a children's magic set, but it was that birthday party with Roy that really inspired me, and I collected all of the magic sets that were around after that. But it was when I was 10 years old and we heard about the Young Magicians Club that things really changed, because suddenly I was learning from professional magicians, and I got to visit the Magic Circle regularly, and I got some amazing experiences, and it was that really helped me to love magic and to keep at it. I think I might have got bored of the children's magic sets eventually. I through the YMC, I was always performing, entering competitions, and very much involved with the Magic Circle as much as I could be, performing. I remember getting to perform to the members of the Magic Circle and finding that a really wonderful experience as well. As I grew up, I went to university after being in the YMC, and it was when I came at university. I ran a magic club. I was kind of vice president of that before I even got there, which was well, it was fun. A lot of work, but it was good fun. And I came back after uni and wanted something to do, something to get more involved with the Magic Circle. And it was at that point that I ran for secretary, and I did 5 years as secretary, and then became VP 2 years ago, and I'm now president of the Magic Circle. So I've been involved with the Magic Circle for a very long time. I feel like I've really worked my way up the ranks, but I'm really proud to be here now.
Well, thank you. And I think that's absolutely wonderful, because you really have, not very many people have, but you have a very in-depth experience, as you've just explained, from starting from magic, doing this at university, etc. By the way, uni is an expression for university in England. Those of you west of the Mississippi, that's school or college. Okay, it's just university. All right. So really, here we have a president who is not just come up through the ranks, but is kind of being there and understands it, and then brings a certain amount of empathy. I want to come back to Megan in a little bit, but before I do, we've seen the picture of both of them, Katherine and Megan, on the staircase with the new council behind them. But let's just pull up some pictures of Katherine. First off, I think we'd like to see her on the cover of the Magic Circular. And in case you're wondering, what on earth is she doing with the keyboard on the cover? Well, I'm going to let you tell her about it. Other than, yes, she's also a musician, amongst other things. She also has this little creature that was named after a wonderful, wonderful gentleman. If you don't know his name, don't find out. He's called Harbin. There he is. I love him. I love anything like that. I absolutely adore little fluffy animals, provided you don't have to feed them. So anything like this is, definitely, she was in one of our gala shows, and I think we've got a little clip where she was in the gala show last year. There she is doing her favorites, Selbit blocks, etc. And when she's not, and yesterday she was hard at it as well at the Magic Circle. There she is yesterday, performing away. And last but not least, here she is sitting in a cockpit. Thumbs up. Yeah, you're right. She flies planes too. Yeah. So between these two ladies, what I'm trying to get at is that we have some seriously talented magicians that don't just know how to do a top lift. They really have a wide spectrum, and they've both, been given awards and all kinds of things, which I'm going to let you tell them about them. We had a potted history of Megan. Let's just get, oh gosh, how do we do this? A potted history of Katherine? No such thing. We'll have to write an entire encyclopedia. Do your best, Katherine. Your potted history as well.
What, my life in magic?
Yeah.
I had an interest in magic, as you know. Nothing excessive. When I was younger, I was interested, and then it would wane, and other things. With music was my real passion. Then music and puppets, actually. But I'd pick up a magic book once in a while, learn some stuff, but never do anything with it. I actually started when I was 21 through being introduced to it by somebody at work. I got into it really heavily then. Then I was made redundant. Not long after that, I spent a little time wondering what to do, and I got a phone call from an agent who needed a job covering, and he couldn't find anybody to do it, and he found out I was available. So he asked me to do it. I went and did it. It was turned out to be a major comedy club on the circuit, which was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But I was the first magician they asked back, and that's what I've done ever since, apart from a brief stint out when I was back into music for a few years, and I was on tour and I just had no time for magic, but then back into magic, and that's all I've done. And here I am. That's as brief as I can get it.
Well, trust me, if you know anything about Katherine, that was brief, because her life story is just really phenomenal. It really is. I'm going to jump back to Megan for a little bit, because Megan, I think we were talking the other day prepping for the show, and you were telling me, in fact, that I always used to make the mistake of calling you a vet, which is a veterinarian. Sorry, I don't mean a Vietnam vet, I mean a veterinarian. But you corrected me and said, no, I'm not. This is what I do. So perhaps you can explain to everybody what it is you do in the world of veterinary science.
It's kind of complicated, as I think Anthony knows. So I have a part-time job as a policy officer at the British Veterinary Association. And the role of the whole organisation is to represent vets and to help lead the profession forward, and also stand up for animal welfare. But my specific areas of interest, the things I get to work on, are more to do with the environment and looking at the connection between human, animal and environmental health. And my degree was actually in wildlife conservation. So that's the link there. It's another interest. As Katherine has her flying and music, I have my love of the environment. So I write policies, I research and work with people to write policies on all sorts of things. One of the latest ones was responsible use of parasiticides on cats and dogs. So that's flea and worm treatments, and how they're getting into the environment and killing off all of the aquatic insects, which is great. Next job will be to look at sustainable aquaculture, so how we can farm fish in a way that doesn't harm the environment as much as it could do. I find it really interesting. There's lots of really complicated policies that I get to work on, but it helps me to keep doing the research on the environmental things that I'm so passionate about as well. And I love getting to work with colleagues, and they do book me for shows as well. I did one the other night, which was great. They're a great bunch of people to perform to.
Indeed, because I remember seeing a clip of you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it may have been the BBC or Sky News or some such major channel. And you were actually talking about how you use magic to convey the message you just spoke about, caring about the environment. That's a passion you and I share, and I dare say several other people around the planet, about, well, this is it. This is the only planet we've got. We've got to learn to take care of it, which is, do parasites kill off some other bugs, and how can we farm fish, as you were saying, without harming something else? So yeah, and I watched this, and I watched it several times, this clip where you use what we commonly call the professor's nightmare in different colors to explain the concept of environment. And I thought there was a really, really good visual way to get the message across. Now, Katherine, do you do something like that? Do you find that if you have a message, or indeed Megan, or both of you, just jump in whenever you want. Is that the only time, or are you continually using magic to make a, shall we say, serious point or comment about something?
Well, I use it all the time. That's just become my main thing. Environmental magic is the thing I love doing most. I have a whole show mainly pitched at schools, but I've been performing it more and more for adults and older children as well. I think magic is a really powerful communications tool. It's a great way of getting messages across in a simple way, especially some of these complex, really quite depressing messages that we need to get across in terms of the environment. It's a really good way of catching people's attention and making sure they listen and remember what you're trying to say as well.
Yes, indeed. We all have a number of friends that do something similar, but you've taken it to the next level. And there's only one other person who's a very good friend of mine, and he and I have known each other since Noah built the Ark. And I believe he's here, and that's J. Scott Berry, who actually uses magic in that form. Not only does he teach it, but he actually uses that in a form to make, shall we say, a philosophical, esoteric point. And I think for me personally, and indeed professionally, that is a good way to use magic rather than just walk in there and say, hey, look what I can do and I can find your card. You know, it's one of the 52 in this deck. Nothing wrong with that. You know, if your name is Mike Vincent or John Rockefeller, great. But I think I really want to emphasize this point and get Katherine's views on it, of using magic as, to use your phrase, Megan, a communication tool to get, sadly, but correctly and accurately, where you said sometimes it's a depressing message. And if we can find a lighthearted, shall we say, way of doing it. What are your thoughts on that, Katherine?
Magic is an incredible communications tool, and I've seen what Megan does, and it is remarkable the way that she gets the message in an entertaining and engaging fashion. And I admire people that can do that. Me personally, I don't have any message. I'm there to make people laugh. That's what I do. I want to give them a release from reality for however long I'm with them. That's what I do. I don't have any messages to impart. You know, I could, but I don't. I've never been asked to. I'll be honest. I've never considered it really.
I mean, it crops up sometimes. I think, somebody asks you something of a corporate gig, where you've got to find something. I remember one that was, after all the years in this business, I had to sit down and go, oh my God, how do I do this? I took the gig and then try to figure out what it was. It was an egg manufacturer. I know it's going to be, do the egg bag. No, it wasn't that kind of a gig, right? It's a corporate gig. So you have to figure out a ton of stuff and deliver this corporate company's message. It was a well-paid gig, but my God, did I earn my money? Because you have to, think of ways of doing it, like Megan did. Who would have thought? Yeah, you use, the Professor's Nightmare in a different way to convey colors and the earth and the green of the leaves and that sort of thing. Now let's just jump over to the Magic Circle itself. As I mentioned earlier, it's been going since 1905, and like all organizations, it goes up and down, and presidents and what have you. I'm very privileged to have known several of the presidents, and indeed met Megan. I think you were the secretary when I first met you, some years ago. I can't remember. We sort of collided on the staircase, and I can't remember why. Either I was giving a talk or lectured there, but I know Katherine was at my London gig. She came to see that, and then she came up and said some kind words after the lecture. And I was very privileged, and I must make this man's name, and I've mentioned him before, dear Roy Marsh. What an intro he gave me, and I got to do the lecture on the stage in the theater. Wow, how cool was that? Not just, the Devant room, which is a pretty good room on its own, but, to be asked to do that on the stage. So talk to us, both of you, about the stage, the building, what's on each floor, because the video did a great job, but there's nothing like being there. So can you give us a kind of, between the two of you, well, that's over there and this is over here, and the theater holds 60 people and that kind of thing. So folks get to know a little bit as best as you can.
Okay, I feel like we should have rehearsed this, Kate.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Do you want to take the ground floor and the bar, and I'll join there.
Kate gets the bar.
We like the bar. It is the most important
bar.
The most important room we have is the bar.
They have gin at the bar.
Yeah. So let's start at the very top. At the top, you've got plant machinery and stuff. That's very unexciting. The roof and the air conditioning units and what have you. Then the next floor down is the balcony and the control room for the theatre. Then you go down another level, and that's the stalls, the theatre, the dressing rooms, toilets and showers, and what have you. Then you go down the next floor, which is the Devant room, named after our first president, David Devant, which is where the museum really starts. And you're not actually in the museum yet, but that's full of artifacts. The whole building is full of incredible artifacts and memorabilia. It's all over the walls. There's display cases everywhere and built into things. But the Devant room has got actual big displays. The original Zigzag is in there. We've got the very first film of David Devant off a Kenora reel. We've had that digitized. So you can actually watch David Devant performing the first recorded magic trick. We've got Paul Daniels stuff, Tommy Cooper stuff, little bits of Houdini and various other famous people, Robert Houdin, Harbin, and what have you. Soon going in there is the only known audio recording of David Devant's voice, because I've just digitized that, so that will be installed shortly. Blah 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 blah. Down a bit further down our fabulous staircase, and you've got the club room, which is full of all wonderful posters, few little exhibits, and of course the bar. So we could stop there, but we should probably carry on down a bit further, which has got the library, a huge library. Every book on magic you can think of is in there. A little bit further along that corridor is what we call the inner sanctum, which is largely the archive, but it also features all the exhibits that lay people can't see if they're visiting and wandering around having a look at reading, because it's the stuff that either gives secrets away, in that thing, or it could be we've got what is believed to be the world's first thumb tip and things like that. You don't want that that's for magicians only. That's, you have to get permission to go in there. And then you've got the museum proper, which has got amazing stuff like a first edition of Scott's Discovery of Witchcraft, Lafayette, the great Lafayette's Sigmund Neuberger, his sword from when that was found next to him when he was died in the fire, Chung Ling Su's costume from when he was shot, and so on and so on and so on.
And Sooty.
And Sooty.
Ah.
And Sooty. We've got Sooty. Yes.
That may not mean an awful lot to people outside of England, well, to some perhaps, but that was a very endearing character, and still is, because the son has carried on the tradition. Am I right? Yeah, the Sooty's creator's son.
No, the son's retired now.
Oh, really?
Now, the whole company is now owned by a magician called Richard Cadell, who is who's really breathed a new lease of life into Sooty and Co, and is back on tour and on TV, and yeah. If
you've not seen it, I urge you to find it. Perhaps there's something on YouTube, Katherine will know. But if, like me, you love little furry creatures that you don't have to feed, this is definitely one of them. And he has a sidekick. Can I call her that? Is it Sue? Another little
Sweet.
Sweet? Oh, okay.
Well, there is Sue the panda. It's the two main characters are Sooty and Sweep.
Oh, right.
A bear and a dog.
Sweep. I beg your pardon. That's it. That's the one. Well worth watching. Really well worth watching if you've not seen them. In fact, one of the things that Katherine was mentioning about was that there is, and to the best of my knowledge, and Katherine and Megan will correct me, it is the only recording of Houdini's voice on a wax cylinder. Am I right about that? We spoke about it when Dorothy Dietrich was my guest on the show before she did the Houdini seance. There's a cylinder in there. There's a kind of like a upside down, yay high water torture tank and a puppet in it, dummy about 3 feet high in a straitjacket, but the cylinder underneath, to the best of my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, it's actually a recording of Houdini speaking. Is that right?
As far as I'm aware, it's the only known recording of Houdini's voice, which we've had digitized, so you can listen to it at the press of a button. And it's surprisingly long. So you probably don't want to listen to the whole thing. And then going in the other end of the room is the only known recording of David Devant's voice. So it's a bit of a theme happening in the Devant room now.
Yeah, it's quite a thing, that room. I mean, if you've never visited, when you do visit, you should spend some time in the Devant room, because the energy in there, and I think you both will agree with me on this, there's something about that room. I don't know what it is, but there's an energy in there that you kind of just, oh, Anthony, what a ridiculous word to use. You think of one better. I can't, so I'll use it. The energy is magical. It comes off the walls, it comes off the posters, it comes off the bust, the sculpture, everything about it. I mean, it got to a stage, I think, a couple of years ago, somebody did an effect where he had the bust duplicated like a cake. I don't remember the details, but I think do any of you guys, either of you remember that?
Yeah, it's a close-up competition.
Yeah. And then, somebody cut a slice of the cake. I mean, it's amazing. And for me, I've got 3 highlights in my life in the world of magic. I mean, several, but 3 main ones. One of them is when, I don't remember when, I think it was after my talk, not my lecture, this gentleman who I didn't know came up and said, would you like to come and have a look at whatever? And I went, yeah, I didn't even know such a thing existed here, and I've been here a few times. Thank you very much. Who are you? And he said, my name is Lionel Russell. And he was the curator. I said to him, it just so happens that nobody knows this, but I do. There's a gentleman here with his wife called Stephen Spence, who is the president-elect of the SAM. Would it be okay if we invited him as well? Says Anthony, just having got an invite, very rude. And he looked at me and he said, who did you say was? And I told him. And he said, with his wife. I said, yes. He said, well, I can't let his wife in. I went, okay. So I went over to Stephen and I said, look, this is what's happening. Make a decision like now. Otherwise, I'm going in on my own. And we did. And Katherine, you're so right. There are so many wonderful things in there that just, well, we're not going to talk about them publicly. If you ever get the opportunity to be taken in there, then, you know, grab it, kill somebody, do whatever, pay the money, the ransom, whatever. Go. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Or just buy a ticket.
Oh yeah,
Buy a ticket to a show.
That's even better. Yeah, buy a ticket to a show. Exactly. Speaking of shows, now there are a lot of shows. I know the Christmas one's coming up, and that's been a tradition at the Circle. And somebody who shall be nameless works her butt off putting these together. Is that nameless person still working her butt off putting this one together for December, or have you got someone else involved?
No, I've done it.
You again? Oh, all right, there you go. I told you this woman is friggin' remarkable. I don't know how she does it, but there we are. Yeah, and always helpful. I'm going to embarrass you to help publicly, but you've always been so helpful. Anything that anyone's asked for, you always help. And I always remember, I'll never forget how you kindly came up to me after my lecture and you said something to me. I'm not going to repeat what it was. I just thought, wow, that is so cool. That was really nice. You didn't have to do that. We took the time and trouble to do it, which I thought was really nice. Anyway, coming over now, it's your turn, Megan. What has she left out? What has Katherine left out?
I left out of the building.
Yeah.
The people, I guess, the members.
Yeah.
The society runs pretty much all on volunteers, and so we have everything from, if we start at the top of the building, the tech crew, which is great fun. I've been a member of the tech crew before, and it's great, whether you're pulling the curtains or doing the sound and lights or turning them off on people. It's all great fun. And then even right down to the basement with the library team and the museum teams, all volunteers, some amazing members that help to keep everything running. And yeah, we couldn't do the Magic Circle without them. And I've been quite keen over the lockdown to try and we tried to reach out around the world. Obviously, we've not been in the building, so we're doing TMC TV and trying to get people involved from further away. And in fact, we now have Rodney's on the council from Spain, so we do have international members on the council, and so it's we're definitely expanding, which is good. So anyone, no matter where you live, you can get involved with the Magic Circle. If you're a member, you can volunteer. You do want everyone volunteering. So I like the idea of members running their club and getting involved. I think the more you give, the more you get back. So I'm quite keen to see as many people as possible find something they're passionate about and help out if they can.
Well, your philosophy is absolutely accurate, and I'm not going to be just professional. I'm going to be personal here, and Katherine is nodding away because I know she agrees with this. I know from experience with Katherine. The more you give, the more you do get back. Yeah. Sometimes you get shut down by people for giving too much, but the short answer is do it anyway. There's always somebody up there who'll appreciate it, and there'll be 5 naysayers going, well, you shouldn't have done that, and it wasn't that, and whatever, and you go, yeah, okay, fine, doesn't matter. And you just go ahead and you just do it, because it's about the circle, it's about your society, it's about your organization. That's what it is. And I'm delighted that you got elected president, not just because you're a lady. Yeah, that in itself is historic, yes, but gender aside, you brought to the organization a kind of personal and professional philosophy, which has been honed, as you've just told us, from being organized, writing reports, getting things done. So you kind of understand that. And I have no idea how you do it. You're continually doing this with a smile on your face. There must be times when you go, I really want to hit this person on the head with a very big hammer, but you smile and you're just a wonderful people person, and you listen to what I know this. It's going to embarrass you, but I know this. You listen to what members are saying and telling you, And I think that's a true mark of a leader. You know, there's the rank and file. There's all the people we know and on the council and people that we all know in common. But then there's, as you say, the members and members all over the world. And you've done a remarkable job, particularly over the last year or so, of getting involved in the TMC TV and making people feel part of an organization, not just I paid my money and I belong to it and I'm wearing a pin. It's a little bit more than that. So thank you for bringing that to it. Katherine, I know, has been doing that for a goodly while. Well, certainly for me anyway. Every time I needed something, she's always been there and gone, that'd be such a bloody pain. But she always get it done for me and find me a way around it. Right down to, do you remember, Katherine, when I went, I want to do something on David Nixon. I want to do something on David Nixon. Obviously, I can't have him as a guest on the show. And you went, Steve Short. Never even heard of this man. Katherine knew. Boom, contact him. He knows what he's talking about. From that, Steve Short is now doing a book on Dear Ali Bongo. Speaking of which, when we had that tour downstairs in the bar, we used to have a photograph up there, or a painting rather, opposite the side of the bar with Ali Bongo. Is that still there? Or it's still, I think I might have a picture with a fairly well-known gentleman up there with myself and Angelo Carbone. Angelo Carbone. I don't know if Joel can pull it up, but somewhere we might have that point. I'm only putting it up, not because we're in it, because there's a picture of Ali Bongo. And that painting went on the cover of the Linking Ring. And that's just Angelo and myself, pointing. That's still hanging there, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's fine. Sort of over to the side, to the left of Angelo Carbone's shoulder is the bar. Am I right? Yeah. Would be to the left of his shoulder?
Almost.
Oh,
it's on the it's on the opposite side of the room to the bar.
Well, when you talk about a bar, everybody's kind of thinking about a bar like you would, for anywhere from New York to Texas, or even a British pub. But this has got a kind of quintessential quality of it, because as you walk in, is it still there? A glass case with where you can buy cufflinks and
still got it.
Oh, it's still there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But that's just what we're watching it and looking at. And many, many, many wonderful things have happened at that bar and in that room. Certainly to me, I'll tell you that much, right? Where else in the world can you stand at the bar and have George Cavari, Alan Allen, and dear Pat Page, blessings for both their memories, who was a wonderful friend and mentor to me, buying you drinks? I mean, seriously, where else would that happen? So there's history in this place. Speaking of that, now, if somebody said to either of you or to me in the chat, well, I'll ask it now. Well, we're always in reverence to the magic circle. And I said to you the other day, perhaps sometimes it doesn't have, it does, I mean, it's something to belong to the circle, but because you're in England or in London or easy to get to the circle, it's not quite the same of being in, Sioux City, Iowa, or New Orleans, or whatever place, or in Malta or some other country, and going, I'm a member of the magic circle. Because it does carry quite a bit of status to it. It really, really does. So if somebody said, wow, am I going to be good enough? How do I get in? How would you both respond? I know what I've responded to and sponsored people, but how would that, you're both here, president and vice president. How would you both in turn respond to that?
I would first suggest you contact your rep. So your local, I'd say regional, if you're in the UK, we have regional reps, and then we also have international reps. So people all around the world. Most countries, I think, have got a rep. If we've got a member, we've normally got a rep in the country. So contact them, and they can help guide you through the process. They can talk to you about what's involved. But also get in touch with magicians are also connected. Get in touch with other people that are members of the Magic Circle, and just chat and see what they recommend. See if your magic is there. I imagine if you're involved enough to be on this call, if you're involved enough to be talking to other members of the Magic Circle, then you're probably halfway there already at the very least. And other than that, just give it a go. We have a great apprentice group now as well, so you can join as an apprentice of the Magic Circle, and you get a year to take your exam. and that's really helpful. They've got a really good group going, mainly via Facebook. They do little Zoom chats as well and help each other out. So it really is about working with other people to progress your magic. But just give it a go and see where you're up to. You might surprise yourself.
Well, indeed. And I think, are the exams, before Katherine comes in, and I say this from a different perspective, are the exams daunting? Yes, they can be. And there are many, many people, not too many, but there are many who currently hold an MIMC with gold stars who actually fail their exams the first time round. So is it very strict? Is it very stringent? And the short answer to that is, I don't know. And I don't suppose Megan or Katherine knows, but what all three of us know is there are standards to be met. Would you agree, Katherine?
Well, Megan and I are both examiners, so we do know what's involved.
No, I know you know what's involved. What I meant was
standards.
No, standards. Yeah, exactly.
We judge people and mark people. Rod Chow, who I can see on the screen. Not that long ago, I had the honour of being his examiner. To allow him entrance to the Magic Circle. I'm delighted that he passed. That would have been really awkward if he hadn't. But,
yes, doubly so. I knew one of his sponsors, I still do.
There are, of course, standards, because it's not an anybody join. If you've only just picked up a magic book and you're on week one of wanting to enter into this fantastic journey, the Magic Circle is not the place for you. Come as a visitor, but you're not ready for that. That's what local clubs are for. And you can get so much from your local clubs, and there will be members of the Magic Circle in those clubs that can help you and guide you. And as Megan said, point you towards your regional rep or your international rep if you're not too close to London, and that can help advance. And they're not tutors, but they can help guide you on the journey and steer you in the right direction. As Megan said, other magicians are your best source.
Absolutely, because I think, springs to mind, I'm not sure if he still is, but he was at one time, very, 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 very dear friend down in Atlanta in Georgia, Dan Garrett, past national president of the SCM. He may still be, I don't know, I should look these things up, or maybe just ask him. He is, I think, a representative. And another gentleman who's a member of our International Assembly, Mark Fiskin in Scotland. He's the local Scottish representative for the Magic Circle. I can't reel off all the others. These are just things that spring to my mind. But I cannot emphasize enough what Katherine and Megan has said. It's open, it's welcoming, but you know what? You got to be to a certain standard before you even think about doing that. And probably quite a few people here may not know this, but a certain gentleman who is my age, when he was younger, had to pass an exam at the Magic Circle. And it didn't matter that his mother was the Queen of England. And that was Prince Charles. He had to do the cups and balls for his exam, to pass his exam. What some of you may know, and I know all these weird things, which I like to collect this information.
He did very well as well. He passed straight in at AIMC, Associate of the Magic Circle.
Well, so there you go. Yeah.
Straight in at the highest level by examination.
Indeed. I believe he picked the bug up from his great uncle, who was, blessings for his memory. We won't go into the history of that, who was, I believe, an absolutely passionate magician. So I think, he picked up, and as Megan says, and I think he made obviously made a lot of press at the time, and the cover of the Magic Circular. I think probably the only person who's outdone that at the moment is Megan, because she's made a lot of press and all over the place. Not bad. Yeah, I'm so glad I got your autograph 10 years ago, because it costs much more money now, wouldn't it?
Fees has definitely gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up. Yeah. Take it to Potter and Potter for the auction. Absolutely. Well, I think again, I wanted to kind of say that whilst you don't actively look for members to join, because I think you've got enough members, and it's not just the Magic Circle, that in turn is, how can I best phrase this, in inverted commas, owned by a different company which is associated. What would be the best way of explaining that? There's the circle, and then there's the thing which members are also shareholders.
Do you mean the Magic Circle Foundation?
Yes.
Okay,
That
so
one.
the Magic Circle isn't owned by the foundation. So we have an independent but associated charity called the Magic Circle Foundation, and their remit is to sort of promote magic, but through charitable aims. So we, for example, have the wonderful Breathe Magic. If anyone's ever heard of them, if not, look them up. Breathe Magic. They get to come and use our building, and we supply it free of charge through the foundation, so they can help these kids learn magic and perform at our wonderful HQ. But the foundation is also responsible for looking after the building. Effectively, the Magic Circle has loaned it to the foundation, and they look after it. And in return, we have a certain number of days that we can use it. We use it on club nights, but the foundation are in charge of looking after the building. It's quite complicated, way too complex for this late.
Oh yeah,
on
absolutely.
an interview. But it's they have two organisations which work closely together, but do have very specific remits as well.
That's basically what I was getting at.
And as president, I sit on the board of the foundation just to ensure that we do work together. Yeah.
Right. That's precisely what I was getting at, because, I didn't want people to think, well, again, it's just a nice building with some pretty posters on the wall. There is actually some structure and, for want of a better word, a business model that is in place. For example, the theater has its own manager, and, and he gets paid to look after the theater. Is that right? Is that still the case? Or
no?
Oh, okay. Well, it used to be. Well,
the theatre manager is voluntary.
So that's never been the case.
We do have a general manager who manages the building.
That's what I confused him with.
Foundation, also responsible for.
But we do have a theatre manager. But as Megan pointed out, it's one of our wonderful volunteers.
Yes, yeah. I was just fed something where somebody asked along the lines of, if you belong to AMA, i.e. the Magic Castle in LA, is it automatically that you become a member? And I would imagine the answer is no, it's not automatic. However, there is a protocol, as I understand it. If you show your Magic Circle membership, you can get into the castle, and vice versa. So what are you both kind of elaborating on that one? Is that still in place? It's not? I mean,
yeah.
It is. Oh, okay.
Obviously, things have been a little bit difficult. Obviously, we've not had really been able to be open to anyone, let alone visitors, the past year. But if you're a member of the Magic Castle, we did have an agreement, so you could come over and visit our headquarters just as we can come and visit yours.
Indeed. Now, one of the things I think we must not leave out, and that is perhaps very soon, but in the past it was possible, and perhaps very, very soon, a member could bring a guest. That is still, shall we say, possible once, everything's been sorted out with vaccinations and masks or whatever the rules are. You can still bring a guest. And there is a small token payment that the guest makes. Is that right? It's not just free. You bring somebody along and go, hey, this is my guest. You have to pre-book it.
The agreement before, it might be a little bit different. We haven't really discussed guest fees recently. It used to be about £15, and you'd get to come in and see the headquarters and watch the lecture as well. We're not currently showing lectures at the headquarters, so I guess if you are bringing a guest, then get in touch and we'll discuss that. I think we've not had anyone bring guests recently, so not something we've had to worry about. I think at the moment guests will probably be free, but I probably shouldn't make that decision.
No, but
would you agree with that? Does that sound like a fair decision? Should we just say for free entry?
No, I think you're absolutely right, because given the times that we're in and the atmospheres of different things around the planet, and which planes you can and can't get on, and which countries you can visit with or without a vaccination certificate, all of that outside of what we're talking about here today. Given all of that, the short answer is yes. If you remember, you can bring a guest. There are certain protocols you follow to do that. Sometimes you have to give the guest name in advance. And I know in the old days, you could bring a guest and they paid a small token fee and attended an amazing lecture and got to use the building and look around it.
Providing that they are a bona fide magician. You can't just bring your auntie for a look around the building and sit in on the lecture.
Absolutely. Now, this is kind of important because we have, and I think he's still there, or he may have changed, I don't know. A gentleman used to be called Bronson, a very charming man, and he would stand there. Megan's going, no, he's gone. Obviously,
He left. He left.
he's been
He used to be.
Yeah,
He wasn't a member. He was someone who
the door.
staffed the
Yeah.
door. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, during obviously lockdown, everything's changed. We now
Change,
have.
of course.
But
I'm just saying.
Kaz is normally around. Kaz is lovely. He
Mhm.
does a lot with the Magic Circle.
Yeah.
He's usually there and knows everybody. Always very welcoming and very helpful.
And this gentleman that they're referring to actually has a role. He stands there behind like a little pedestal, a reading pedestal, and he's just checking off. And you got to show him your card and your membership number, and that. So you can't just walk in and go, "Hi, I'm a magician. I'm here." No, you got to identify yourself. Yes, correct. Still the case.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. But bottom line is, it's a private members club. You can't just.
Right.
It's not a cafe that you can wander in off the street.
Right. No, very well put. Very well put indeed. So, okay, I'm just looking at the clock. As usual, we've been chatting for about 4 or 5 minutes, and a good hour has gone by. And I know Megan is absolutely exhausted, and she's been working hard. You had your gig last night, etc. So I'm not going to tire you guys out, other than to say thank you for allowing us a brief snippet behind the president and vice president, and a brief overview of the circle. What I'd like to do now is to kind of open up the chat and mics. If anybody would like to address you both directly and ask something in either chat, or switch your mic on and ask. Not too long, folks, because trust me, both the president and vice president are busy people. They have things to do. So I will say thank you for me personally, and of course professionally, for absolutely making the time. And it's not just, oh yeah, they made the time. No, trust me, I've been going after them for ages and ages and ages, and short of Katherine holding a shotgun to Megan's head, this would not have happened. And it almost didn't happen today either, because Megan had something crop up, and I got a message about half an hour before curtain up from Joel saying, "We had a storm here, and I'm not sure if this is okay." That's showbiz. But anyway, here we are. Joel put his generator on, and we're all good. I just want to say one very quick thing before we jump in and acknowledge one particular gentleman. An old pal of mine since Noah built the Ark, and I've worked with him. He's a member of our assembly and one of our international envoys, and that's J. Scott Berry, who runs the Art of Wonder and the Academy of Illusions, and he's been doing some marvelous mentoring and tutoring. Another gentleman in the gallery that I could see here, John Riordan, he came on one of the special mentoring shows, as did Rod Chow. So, there's as Megan was saying, there are people around the planet that you can go to and just talk to about certain things and get a feel for your magic. And then if you feel, yeah, I think I might be okay, contact a member of the Magic Circle. Don't send emails to the president or vice president. They just haven't got the time. Honestly, just don't do that. It's not going to get you anywhere. It really isn't. Okay, I'll tell you that now. Okay,
They're not that unapproachable.
Not strictly true.
I wasn't saying you were unapproachable, but you don't want 300 emails every day, do you? Let's be honest.
We will always make time for members and prospective members. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in these positions if we didn't.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I was just trying to save you some grief.
Email Anthony. He clearly got more time to spare.
No, the point I was
That
making
enthusiasm will fizzle out quite quickly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yes. I don't do much. Just hang
Watch,
around.
his email box is going to go bananas now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely discombobulating, aren't you,
No,
Jake?
but I'm delighted to say that we have so many people. I mean, they've been guests on the show as well. John O'Riordan on the Darkstone Dossiers, Kevin James, Sean Farquhar, Lance Burton. All these guys, these people have been just amazing, and they're all members of the circle. They're all members of the circle. I mean, when I had Lance on, guess what? You're going to chuckle as well. Guess who I went to and annoyed again? It was Katherine. I can't find any reference for lunch. I can't find any reference for. She said, it's okay. He's not a member of the Magic Circle. I went, oh, good. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because people who know me go, my God, you're a pain in the proverbial coccyx. I prefer the word meticulous. I do my research and chase people around. But anyway, here we are. Thank you both very much. I wasn't going to say you were unapproachable. I was just saying, don't let's just everybody just bother you, for everything is what I'm saying. Like my membership card didn't turn up, and would it be okay if I did the sponge balls for my exam? I mean, those kind of things you don't really need to ask the president or vice president. Okay, Megan just says, well, you can say to everybody, thank you. You don't need to put it as a message.
No, someone blessed me because I sneezed. So, so I would say that. So I don't know. Magic head.
You shouldn't have noticed that. I didn't say bless you because I just kind of like dismissed it like it never happened. Showbiz, you drop something, it's going to ignore it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Okay, all right. That's my thanks to everybody. I want to express my thanks to Peter and Michael for riding shotgun. Absolutely fantastic. For Jay waking up at about 2:30 in the morning with coffee in Australia coming on. And I think now we will go over to the man himself, Batman, in the Batcave, and see if we can open up the chat and questions to Megan and Katherine.
Chat is now open, and as you can unmute your mics now. So go right ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
Megan, Katherine, a fantastic illustration and tour and talk. Thank you. Megan, I want to commend you on your environmental stand, and Katherine on your musical. That's great.
Thank you.
Now, where have you been as far as the climate change? How are the things happening over in Europe that you can find?
How are things happening?
As far as, are people really jumping on the bandwagon over there and throwing away their styrofoam cups and, recycling paper and plastic? And that's what we're doing over here.
I think there's definitely a movement, and I think worldwide there's certainly from the younger generation, even younger than me, there's certainly a strength of movement, and I think it's something that it's clear many people care about. Obviously, we just had COP26 in Glasgow, so it's been a big thing. I'm hopeful that people are finally realizing how much of an impact we're having, and I'm hoping that there's real hope for the future, that we can actually make a difference. Whether we will, I don't know. I always politics can sometimes let you down, can't it? But I think, right now it feels like there's hope, and I think just through the work I do, even with my other job, it feels like people are waking up to what we need to do and the changes we need to make. And
it's
how
good to keep people reminded. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The magic is a way of reminding people.
Thanks.
Yeah. People still there's still lots of confusion. Like, you still get most people question whether you should use paper towels or hand dryer, or whether you should throw things away, or whether you should clean them, or whether washing it is better than not recycling it. And there's all these questions that people get confused about.
Well, there was a study,
as well as the bigger issues, the little things that matter.
There was a study by someone that if you shake your hands 12 times, you only need one piece of paper. You only need one tissue.
Yeah, but you need another 20 to clean the floor.
That's right. I want to see how many how many times you got to shake for toilet tissue.
Well,
don't let us know.
No. On that note, let's scoot over to the president-elect, Rod Chow.
Hey, thanks, Anthony. Well,
Sure.
When Anthony promoted this on Facebook, he said it would be a historic event, and certainly it has lived up to that name, because, to have Megan and Katherine, the president and vice president of Magic Circle, on a SAM International Assembly produced Darkstone Dossiers, it's, has never happened before. So, and to hear both of you talk here and share your own personal, lives with us, I mean, it's really endearing, and thank you for doing that. And it's really great to just hear a little bit about both of you, a little bit about the Magic Circle. And I'm really so honored to be the member of the Magic Circle, and that so fortunate that I did pass that exam, Katherine. Thank you. But you make it, even the exam process, it's well organized. Your whole organization, like, I've been attending the HQs, and the lectures, and you've got a great body of volunteers making these things happen. And I have to commend you on how you've been doing this throughout the pandemic, and even Megan doing those virtual TV events. So it's kept everyone going. So the Magic Circle is definitely in excellent hands with both you at the top, Megan and Katherine. So congratulations again, and thank you so much for coming on the Anthony Darkstone Dossiers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and hopefully you can visit us here in America, North America, either Canada or USA. It would be nice to have you come see us. And of course, we'd love to come over to see you too in HQ. So hopefully that opportunity comes up as well.
Well, it's interesting.
I'd be up for going on tour if you're okay. I'm not sure.
Yep,
if the circle's
absolutely.
But, well, tour if you come.
Okay.
Yeah, we're well up for that.
Rod,
You organise it, Rod.
yeah, Rod's good. Yeah, we'll get.
Oh, Las Vegas. Come to Las Vegas. We have a convention in January. You can start off there.
Great. Send us tickets.
I just think we should go bananas. That go all around the country.
Well, might get a bit discombobulated if we go the wrong way, but we could try it.
Joel was saying earlier on before we came on air, there's some very, very, very good deals now, flight wise, and you can get to the States now. It's fairly easy to get in. Canada has a couple of restrictions. It's not too heavy, but certainly for the convention in January, you just need an ESTA. If you are not an American citizen, you don't need a special visa or anything. An ESTA, and you can do this online. It costs you the equivalent of about 20 pounds or thereabouts. Yeah. But before we go to Joel and tell you some great ideas of flights and things like that, I just want to acknowledge a couple of people here. George Smith, and of course, dear Harriet. Dear Harriet, and of course, latest international envoy for the Assembly, Brian Rollet from Malta. If you saw his show last week, it's just like stunning. We've got plenty of things planned for him. He doesn't know it, but we have. He's also going to be in the gala show in December, as is John Riordan and J. Scott Berry, and another member of our Assembly, Kevin Peel. I only put people on the cast that are members of the Assembly, because I think it's a fair way of doing things. We have our international envoy or envoy, whichever way you want to pronounce it, for England, because we have one in Scotland as well, which is Mark Fiskin also. He does both jobs, the Circle and this one. And that's Paul Abbey, who is an AIMC of the Silver Star. He's here. Yeah, I'm probably going to leave somebody out, but anyway, I probably have. So, Joel, talk to us about some of these deals that you found out about with flights and things.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is because everything's starting to open up, hooray, hurrah, you can now fly, at least from JFK to London. JetBlue has opened up a lot, their new airways going there. Normally, you'll be spending, between $3,000 to $5,000 for first class. JetBlue is now running deals of $900 first class. That's round trip. And it's in their JetBlue Mint, which is the best first class. If you've ever gone that way. So I'm looking for some road trips to London, folks. So
if you're going to Las Vegas, I urge you, in fact, and you can go directly from Gatwick, which many of you will know is the other airport in London. Well, it's just outside, but a great airport. I prefer it to Heathrow. And you can go by Norwegian, and first class. Last time I went to Vegas, it cost me, I think, the equivalent of about $1,500 return from Gatwick. And man, was it first class. I mean, it really was. I got to choose the movies, and I got to choose special food because I kind of go gluten-free. I'm being personal now, but I got great gluten-free meals. And I checked with British Airways, and they were going to charge me like about $900 more for economy, tourist class, whatever it's called. So it's worth checking the various airlines. And for me, and you can ignore me, but I've done this for more years than I care to remember. I booked through the airlines directly, never through travel agent. Works for me. Something you may want to think about if you're doing it. It's entirely up to you, but I'm just saying what works for me. Okay, is anybody else who wants to chat with my two lovely guests?
Just it's been a wonderful meeting. Nothing really to add to it that much, but I've enjoyed what both Megan and Catherine brought to this meeting, and of course you, Anthony.
Well, thank you, Kip. Thank you. Okay. Well, listen, here we are. We have our international envoy for Australia, New Zealand, Oceania, and any other place you can find west of the Mississippi. Here he is, Jay Scottberry. Jay.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. Great to see everyone here. Megan, Catherine, just congratulations, of course, on one hand, but thank you so much for your time to very nice interview, lots of information. It's great that Megan, I absolutely share a very common interest in the environment and everything you've said, 100%, absolutely. Catherine, as you probably know, I'm also a very avid, passionate musician. And right now I'm working on a whole bunch of new piano stuff. So complete, kudos and appreciation for what you're doing. I love the backdrop. I even messaged Catherine. I said, that's the coolest backdrop. Jim Henson, one of my great heroes, would have totally approved. I like the little puppet up in the corner, right above you. Right? I was like, how cool is that? A couple quick things. I just want to say this now, Michael. Last time I was in on the Isle of Man, here you go. This coin has just made an appearance in my brand new digital download that I produced, and I was talking about the different coins of the world, and so I use that specifically. So there is the Isle of Man coin, absolutely great, really good, solid coin. And on a slightly odder note, where was it? John O'Riordan. Last time I was in Ireland. See, I collect all these crazy things. Look at that. It's beautiful. That was from Limerick. So there's
Wonderful.
I had to bring those out for both of you I have all these souvenirs and treasures here that made it across all the way down under. So just really kudos to everyone. Appreciate everyone's passion. Well done. Good production all around. Best wishes to both Catherine and Megan in just really advancing the art of magic and representing the circle.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jay. Really, really good. And as I mentioned earlier on, in fact, if you're thinking I'm plugging this, well, the short answer is yes, I am, because it's worth plugging. It's like when you get a great book, you want to share that and say, hey, you need to get this book by Jen Steinmeier, or you need to get this book by John Rockefeller, or whatever. All I'm saying is you need to get this great stuff that Jay is putting out on the Art of Wonder, the Academy of Illusions. I mean, at one time, you even lectured over in Joel's Batcave, right, Joel?
Correct.
You were over there. And
I've lectured pretty much with everyone here. I'm looking at Rod and I met each other many times lecturing. Of course, I've lectured at the Magic Circle many times. I've been in the room right behind John Riordan. I remember the original one, the Muse, the picture behind John there. I remember that very well, the tables and the whole. I was really impressed when I first came in. That all the horoscope symbols on the floor, and I looked around and went, oh, this is someone designed this who sort of knew a little bit of the mystical side of the art. That was beautiful.
They still have those tables, don't they? Yeah, we call it the bar, but we're talking about that room where the bar is. And how cool is that when you walk in for the first time and you see those tables and you go, oh my God, look at that, the logo's on the table. Yeah. And there's the most amazing people sitting there, exchanging ideas and thoughts and stuff. And if you've never got to get up and buy a drink or go to the theater or to the demand room for a lecture or watch a show, that room is just like, you just died and went to Christmas heaven if you're a magician, because the talent in there. I mean, wouldn't you say so, Catherine and Megan?
Incredibly talented. Some amazing people there. You never know who you're going to meet. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I remember the last time, one of the times anyway, there's this guy sitting there with a briefcase, and he kept bringing out these tiny little things, and I had no idea. I had never heard of a 3D printer. I mean, I kind of heard about it, but never knew anyone had actually done anything with it. And he was bringing out these little things and said, yeah, I can make this, and I can make that. Oh, whoa, where else do you get to meet up with people like this? And we're not just talking about one embarrassing moment was when dear Alan Astra was trying to get me to guess a card. And there's somebody there who was tapping my foot trying to clue me in, but I was so friggin' dumb, I wasn't getting it. So there's amazing fun things happen at that place. So yeah, am I plugging that you should go and be a member? Well, yeah, I think so. Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I got a question. I've never been over to the Magic Circle, but is it constructed much like the castle in the fact that you've got to be a member or be invited by a member to go to the Magic Circle?
So you can buy tickets for the public shows. Anyone can buy them. But to come on the members evening, yes, you need to be either a member or invited by a member. Or as we were saying earlier, if you're a member of the Magic Castle, then you can come in through the agreement that we have as well. But yeah, it is magicians only, and we only meet on Monday nights as well. So you can't just walk in whenever. But usually there's a show or something on when people visit. We can normally get you in if you're really keen to see it. But it's best to get in touch before you make your trip, just to make sure we can squeeze you in.
Yeah, I'd hate to make a trip all the way from here to there to find out that I couldn't sit at that amazing table that's there behind John and
Yeah.
that was some of the greats, you know.
If you can be there for a Monday night, that's generally the best time to come, because you get to hang around with magicians and chat well into the evening and meet some of our amazing members.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I guess basically something's come up that says, what's the website for the Magic Circle? That's just been renewed a few months ago. I'm right in saying, Megan and Katherine, and it's just www.themagiccircle.co.uk, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I don't read. Yeah, Tom, go ahead, sir. Most
I just
well,
want
no, we're in the meet and greet. Tom, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to comment on your Monday night meetings. I have been coming for the last few weeks, and with the 5-hour difference for us, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's a great way to spend a Monday afternoon. The group you have, it's a fun group. Everybody just gets together. Everybody's got the passion of magic, and everybody helps each other. You can see that it's that kind of a cohesive group. And I just got to say that it's a wonderful thing that you've done on Monday afternoons to go with the virtual and to include people from all around the world.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's definitely something we will continue with as well. It is continuing, even as some of us are meeting back in the HQ. We're keen not to let that just fizzle out. We really want that we really want to maintain it and make sure as many members from around the world can join in with as much as we can do. We're hoping to expand what we offer. We're hoping to make it so that our lectures can be from the headquarters again, but still with that Zoom feel, that interactive element from the board. So we're really working on that.
Zoom's not going anywhere.
True enough. Well, hey, great to see Jeff McDonald here as well. And did I acknowledge her before? Robin Byers, and of course, dear Harriet is fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Harriet, don't go anywhere. Don't do anything with Gay Blackstone on December 11th. That's when it's the dollar show, and somebody's going to need a volunteer. Guess what? No, this is standing thing. It's a lovable standing gag with Harriet. She's everyone's favorite volunteer. She loves magic, doesn't know how it's done, and she's a great volunteer. That's right. Back me up, somebody. Back me up and go, yeah, she is. Yeah, there's a lot of thumbs up going. Yeah. Okay.
It's delightful. You keep me young and involved, and you're all wonderful.
Oh, Harriet, you're very, very welcome. Shall I give you a plug? Yes, BJW Jewelry. If you don't know who that is, that's Robbie Wilmart's wife. Robbie's now, bless his memory, Harriet and Gay Blackstone. They have this amazing jewelry company, which of course I don't like jewelry. You can see. Right. Anyway, yeah. So go check it out. Well, why not? We're all among friends, and if we can plug these things, let's all help each other, because that's our motto, which it came up in conversation with J. Scott Berry. And if you look at it, I think Joel's got a clip somewhere of our assembly, with the motto. There it is. I actually believe that. That's what Megan was saying as well. Everybody wins. We help each other. Right, Megan?
Definitely.
Well, speaking of the International Assembly, etc.
Our motto is slightly different. I've got can't show. I've got our medal here.
Yep.
It's in Latin, but it translates to "not apt to disclose secrets." So our
Correct.
motto is all about secrecy. I think yours is a bit more friendly, but ours is. I think it's important and one of the things that we're quite famous for.
Indeed, and should remain that way too. Speaking of the International Assembly, we have some of our members here with us today, and indeed international envoys for different countries. And we have people from China, Singapore, Malaysia, the Nordic countries, pick a place in North Africa, Australia even. Pick a place, and we got members there. Harriet is one of our members, as is Rod and Tom and Beth. And Joel is our dean. And both Joel and I would like to invite you, Megan, to please join us as an honorary member of the SAM International Assembly. Isn't that right, Joel? Do you want to, as the dean, formally ask her? I mean, I've done
Yes,
it informally. Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to formally ask you.
There you go. See?
And I would like to formally accept. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Thank you
Good.
very much. That's very kind of you. That would be an honor.
Not at all. And basically, Joel will give you all the bank details in the Bahamas. No, Megan, I'm kidding. Nobody pays anything to be a member of the International Assembly. No, we're just kidding. Okay, no, we're there and we're just trying to, literally, everyone's there. It came up in a conversation with Jay some while back, and I thought, wow, great, let's just do it. And then Rod, our president-elect, kind of went, hey, you guys have just won some medals, a Milburn Award and Thurston Award, etc. So that's really all we're trying to do. You know, it's a hub for people to come in, and of course, all the benefits, much in common, like the circle. I'll let Joel tell you. We've got the magazine, which you can go to in any language. Is that right, Joe? I don't want to get this wrong. You know, you say what we've got as members.
No, that's true.
SAM.
First of all, you can read the magazine in any language. You can watch V1 1.1 and V1.2, which is our virtual events that happen. Again, you can watch it in any language that you want. And it's all there. We have the past 5.5 years, close to 6 years worth. And we have all the magazines just about till 1911. So there's a lot of things you can catch up on.
So yeah, being an SAM member, and I'll say the International Assembly is there to provide, if you like, a platform to introduce it to the larger world. So yeah, so thank you very much, Megan. It'd be wonderful to have you. We did, if I'm right, Joel, yeah, we did have the president before you. He was a member of the International Assembly as well. So it only seems right, particularly as we have, Katherine, who's been a member of the SAM and the International Assembly for well over a year now, haven't you, Katherine? Yeah.
2 years.
No, I'm saying well over a year, 2 years. Yeah, we
Well, yeah, I suppose 2 years is well over a year.
only just. Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for accepting that, Megan. We will send you in due course an invite to join our members only FB page. And as and when you get a moment, just kind of accept, and you'll see some of the stuff that we've got going on. Okay, I think from me, I'm
going to say one more thing. May I jump
yes,
in
sir.
real
Jay,
quick?
go ahead.
This is
Go ahead,
especially for
Jay.
Katherine.
Go ahead.
Okay, Katherine.
Ooh.
I have a very unique puppet who's been part of my different performances for many, many years. Hello? 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 Very good ventriloquist now. Sorry about that. But as far as I know, this is... I have never seen another one of these. I picked it up in Wuppertal, Germany, 1996 probably. Just happened to walk in, saw it on a toy store, and he is just the coolest guy. So his name is Wuppertal, and he has enchanted many an adult. And hey, you like my feet? They're pink. Check it out. Spots on my butt. Pretty cool, huh?
Gorgeous. Great eyes as well. Love the eyes.
Yeah, really. the ear, everything. It's like I've even put pictures of it on on the internet and say, on Google to say try to find. It seems to have been some limited run that someone did in Germany, and it's just this amazing kind of one-off. So there you go, just as from one puppet sort of
Awesome.
collector to another.
It's a pity I'm not in the other room. I could start showing all of mine and bore everybody senseless with,
Well, that's
my,
it. Well, maybe,
with my endless
how
stream
about we
of
get
puppets.
I would love to invite you on one of the shows I'm doing, and we talk puppets. Let's talk puppet magic.
Hey,
That'd be
that's a
brilliant.
great idea. Yeah.
great idea.
Whoa.
It'd be my
Yeah, we
pleasure.
can do that. That's a great
Thank
idea.
you.
What a great idea.
While we're talking about puppets, may I? Just for those that aren't aware, at the start you showed a picture of Harbin in the hat, sitting
Yes.
on one of the tables that you keep mentioning.
Yes.
That was it in the bar
Yes.
at the Magic Circle. That's Harbin 1. The Harbin that you see in my picture, if I do that, that's Harbin 2.
Oh,
That's a full-blown puppet from underneath and the back. And the Harbin 1 is going to be an exhibit at the Magic Circle.
Oh, wow.
He's fully animatronic, radio controlled, so you can be inside the top hat is a speaker, inside one of the ears is a camera, so you can be off in a different room, and he's going to be near the door on the exit for the Christmas shows as the kids are going out, and you'll be in a different room, so you can see what the rabbit sees and you can speak, so the rabbit can interact with the kids as they leave. And he moves all about, and you can speak, and you can see, and that's going to be brilliant. So that's just another little exhibit that's going in. That's the sort of thing that we do, just all those tiny little things. Everything is interactive at the circle. There's all sorts. We've got a ventriloquist dummy. The kids can pull the controls and make it all work in the jar. There's buttons that they can press and all that stuff. We've even got the Dyson hand dryers, which people find magical because they're amazing. You can allegedly dry your hands in 10 seconds, which is fiction if you've got nails. But so yeah, so that's just another little thing that's happening at the circle.
Fantastic. Yeah, never mind the kids. I want a ticket. Yeah. I think pretty much everybody here wants a ticket. Yeah. Just really quickly going in there. Okay, Tom Gentile, president at the SAM, says, been a great visit for a spell. Fantastic information. Brian Rollet, I've been a member of TMC since 2007. And then he says, congratulations to Megan and Katherine. You both made history, and we're saying for the best. Yeah. He said, oh, I've only ever been there once in 2018. And as you said, it's a great experience. I was very lucky to meet some great people. I visited. I need to go more often once travel becomes easier. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Who else has scribbled some stuff on here? Let me just check and sweep it up and down. Well, there's a lot of people going, thank you. Rod has his hand raised, whatever. Oh, yeah, we've covered that. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if there really isn't anything else.
I have something.
Yes, please, Megan. Yeah, by all means.
So,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Kate and I have played a little game tonight, and I just wondered if anyone spotted the 4 words that we both managed to slot in. we played a little game of bingo. We had 4 words, 4 random words that we had to slot in tonight. We both managed to do it. So I just wondered if anyone worked out what they were.
I heard one. You both used one of my favourite words, discombobulated.
One.
That's the only one I picked up, though.
That's one, or specifically for Jay, one word.
No?
Three others.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
others.
weird that we both spoke about hand dryers.
Was hand dryers one of them? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I mean, you were both a little bit obsessed with that, and then Tom jumped in with how many paper towels you needed, and I went,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I've lost
just went
control
for
of
it.
this show. I've lost control of this show. Yeah, well, okay, we're among friends. Okay, hand dryers, confabulation.
Yeah, the others were probably easier to get in. The other one was banana. So we both said go bananas a couple of times. And the other one was fizzle. That was easy though. Things fizzle out.
What was the last one?
Fizzle.
But the banana caught my eye, but I just, okay.
And we should point out these
bananas.
words weren't chosen by us. We asked them, not random strangers. That would be really weird. But we asked some friends to give us some words. We got four separate words to try and slot in because we just thought it might be for our own amusement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did use banana pre-show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
You did.
We
You
did
did.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did pre-show. You're gonna meet the banana.
His hand
And I'll
dryer
go-
pre-show as
yeah.
well. It was pretty
Yeah,
good
did
going.
you? Yeah, I can't remember that one. I remember you going, I'm eating a banana, and I went, no, she's not, but okay, whatever. You know, if she feels she's eating a banana, she's eating a banana. You know, who
Yeah,
might
we're
argue? Yeah, who might argue?
But it's great to be working with a president that you can have that sort of fun with as well.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Megan and I have known each other a long time. We're not strangers, and I think that bonds that we have really helps.
Oh, for
just
sure.
to bring things back to
Means
earth.
we don't get discombobulated quite so often.
Yeah. No.
We
Yeah, game's over. Nice try.
eat that many bananas wrapped in a paper towel.
I don't really eat bananas, to be honest, but for the purposes of this game I had to.
Oh, I don't think my love of bananas will ever fizzle out. Sorry.
Or become discombobulated.
Yeah.
They're all at it now.
I'll tell you, you haven't lived, girl, till you've had my banana flambe, and I use tequila to flambe it. That's on the list next time I come over. If you like bananas. Talking to Catherine, of course. And Megan.
Yeah, I do.
mean,
Banana split is my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
I have a question for Megan and Catherine. How many years of it? My husband and I were over for the 100th anniversary.
2005, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
So, wow. I can't believe it was that long ago.
And you haven't aged, Harriet.
16 years.
I haven't. I hope not. And that's when my husband was a member, and now I'm a member. So
There you go.
Hey.
I'm very proud.
I'll tell you, a whole
Very
bunch went over. There was George Schindler, I know, went, Dan Garrett and Carol.
Rich Dooley went.
Rich went.
was there.
You went, of course, Harriet.
The Reynolds, the Regina and Charles Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to think who all else went.
Brad Jacobs, I think, went.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brad went. Blessings for his memory. Yeah. Oh, it's quite a Bank
Is
Morehouse.
Hank Morehouse still around?
I believe so. I think he
think
was
so.
that.
He might have
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. Yeah.
He always wanted me to join. He was after me for years.
He was the one that had my husband join, and my husband got the most points, not for his magic, but for his wardrobe.
It all counts. Okay.
Gotta run,
Yeah.
everyone. It's busy. Take
Right.
care. Stay well.
Thank you, Catherine, and thank
Happy
you, Tom.
Thanksgiving. Happy
Yep.
holiday.
And Charles.
Thanks to you.
Thank you, everybody, and especially please join me with your mics off for a nice round of applause to Catherine and Megan. To everybody that spoke up, our wonderful wingmen and shotgun riders, Michael Kelly and Peter Stevens, great. Thank you guys, as always. And of course, to the head honcho himself, Joel Batman Rositsky, our dean, who will now say the end words in Russian.
And
Well,
thanks to you, Anthony.
Sorry.
And thanks to you, Anthony.
Oh, my
Absolutely.
pleasure. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, as they said in my ancestral land of Russian hand dryers, "До свидания!"